Wuthering Waves is literally getting jumped. If this was a street fight, Wuthering Waves is getting jumped. Dear diamonds and fellow diamonds in the rough. To say that the streets are very anticipating Wuthering Waves release would be a massive understatement. Now, we gotta talk about the marketing for Wuthering Waves. Now, as I did say before in the Gacha cast when I was there, I did talk about Wuthering Waves is already having a market ripe for the taking, which is the Hoyoverse games. And as chat even pointed out, they are going after Hoyoverse creators to try and get the pool of fans to move to Wuthering Waves, which is mostly probably going to be the majority of the new people in Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves is going to be populated by Hoyoverse players. Wuthering Waves is not going to have as much new blood as it is old blood from the Hoyoverse games. Now, marketing is going to be big. And why is marketing such a big topic right now in the streets? Well, it's very simple. Genshin Impact is one of the most grossing games of all time. Like, they made so much money, it's crazy. But they've also spent the most money on the game. What would that be? Where does that money go? Obviously, the game isn't as polished as you would love it to be to excuse and explain all the money spent. So why is Genshin Impact having such high investment in their game when it's clearly not shown at the game? Well, it's all in the marketing. Genshin Impact understands the nature of gacha gaming. Gacha gamers typically just pump and dump. They just play a game and they quickly move on to the next. That's just the nature of gacha gamers. When it comes to Wuthering Waves, the marketing is okay. They're not that big as Genshin Impact. They probably don't have as much means as Genshin Impact when it comes to marketing. So this is something I didn't see talked about really, and I gotta point it out. Wuthering Waves is not releasing at a good time. Wuthering Waves is coming out in May 22nd. What's also happening in May 22nd? What is happening 3 weeks from now? Well, Arlecchino is going to be gone. We're going to be in the gateway of 4.7 in Genshin Impact. Now, what is happening in 4.7 of Genshin Impact? Well, we're going to be having Chlorinde. And Chlorinde has enough hype for people. And I've heard, talk in the streets is, their animations and stuff are very worthwhile. And plus, she's a waifu. She looks like a shogun. There's one thing we know from any shogun, as you can see here, from any shogun counterparts is they're typically very popular with fans, especially in the Hoyoverse space. So Chlorinde is definitely a character to look forward to for a lot of fans. So a lot of money is what I'm trying to say is a lot of money will be spent on Chlorinde. Tijuin, no one really cares. I do feel like that's a filler character. No one will give a fuck. The 4-star guy too, I didn't even remember his name. That's how much we don't give a fuck. Now here's the kicker. If Wuthering Waves is gonna have a chance, it needs to have a fair fight. Now, Wuthering Waves is not having a fair fight. Let me explain. If Wuthering Waves competition was just Genshin, it would have just ended there. If it was just Chlorinde 4.7, that's all they have to care about, no one would care. Wuthering Waves, let's go. You got it. You can win. The problem is not that. Now, even Genshin itself had some competition in the form of Star Rail. We all know that Genshin Impact players and Honkai Star Rail players, they don't really get along too well. Obviously, the dumb fucks. Not the majority of people, but majority the dumb fucks. Now, these two going against each other is gonna stop for a little while when Wuthering Waves come out. Now, I would like to point out what the fuck is happening in Honkai Star Rail around the time Wuthering Waves come out. Now, Wuthering Waves is gonna come out, right? People spend some money on Chlorinde. Some people probably spend some money on Robin, because we'll probably have Robin around the time Wuthering Waves finally come out. And some people will spend some money on the characters that are be there. And Robin is one of the most hyped up characters in Penacony, I do feel like. Not as much as Acheron, etc., but I do feel like some people will scrape some stuff to try and pick up Robin. Boot Hill, not as much, who knows. But I would like to point out 2.3. Now, 2.3 is probably going to be one of the most hyped up patches in Honkai Star Rail history. I'm gonna go ahead and claim this one because we're having big life quality changes to the Simulated Universe. We're having not just one, but two big hyped up characters coming at the exact same time. Now, I would like to point out something that Box2 said when Jade was announced in the drip market. Jade was very, very odd in how fast she became available to us as a playable unit. So that got me thinking, why is she here already? If that's not a sign that they're trying to really make it hard for cash flow to go for Wuthering Waves, I don't know what else. Because, okay, let's think Honkai Star Rail for a minute here. Besides Jade, what character are we looking forward to in the future for? There's the Annihilation Gang, but God knows when we're gonna have those. Who knows when we're gonna get those? There's Sunday, and I would say there's not as much hype for Sunday as others, to be honest. So who else is there besides Jade? Because Jade, when she was revealed, internet shook. A lot of people were like, who the fuck is she, right? But Jade is already coming out. That's very odd considering Black Swan, when we seen her, we waited a while. Kafka, same, we've seen her, we waited a while. There's always some build up to when we get a character. For Jade, it was like, no. You'll wait one patch. That's it. You can get her. We already have Sam for that. Like, why not keep another hyped up character for after Sam? No. They were like, no, we want so much pressure on the players to get these units so that the cash flow is not as big for Wuthering Waves banners, because Wuthering Waves is just gonna come out. We're gonna get some day one units that we all know aren't gonna age well because that's just the nature of gacha games. So a lot of people that are already building up their characters, building up their units, they're already invested in certain games. They gotta keep up with the competitive nature of Honkai Star Rail and like keeping up with the units and power creep of Honkai Star Rail. So this puts a lot of pressure on Wuthering Waves, and let's not even talk about Azure Primelia, which is also after Wuthering Waves in the next close horizon. So all in all, what I'm saying is this: whether it's from Genshin Impact's new units or from Honkai Star's new units, the timing for Wuthering Waves will be very, very tough to actually go ahead and perform as good as we would love it to be, because there's just so much going on in these games too. So cash talks, money talks. That's just a very common thing if you live in this planet. Money talks. All in all, when it comes to Wuthering Waves release dates at this time, it just might be very, very difficult for it, because I do feel like they took into consideration Genshin, but they didn't really take into consideration Star Rail. And a lot of players are really playing Star Rail now. It's not just about open world AAA, it's also about just having a damn good time in a game and feeling invested and all that. A lot of people are invested in Honkai Star Rail units.
I beg to differ. Both Genshin and Star Rail are scheduled for a dry patch. Star Rail specifically is on the tail end of its patch. Word from the street is that new Genshin endgame will be bad, but that might be doom posting. In theory, WUWA cannot release at a best time, but Firefly might throw a wrench.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, Forex Master. You have to admit that the hype for these units are just big.
I think the timing would always be bad, especially since Z's is also coming out soon and Genshin will release.
I totally forgot about that one. We also cannot forget about Zenless Zone Zero's very close release. That's also gonna be a thing. So for Wuthering Waves to perform, it has to beat Genshin Impact 4.7 Chlorinde. It has to beat 2.3, which just might be the biggest patch before the little stagnation of Star Rail until we go to 3.0. And now we also have to beat Zenless Zone Zero. Hoyoverse is literally throwing 3 games at Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves is literally getting jumped. If this was a street fight, Wuthering Waves is getting jumped. Unless Wuthering Waves is Broly and she's gonna like have some reverse jumping, ain't no way Wuthering Waves come out of this easy. Wuthering Waves is going to time their bomb marketing for mid-May. I would really hope so. If they time their big marketing around release date, that's the best time, because we also gotta understand old news in the internet is like a week old. Like week old news are considered old news. Like you are late to the party. Like who the fuck cares anymore? That's the internet. So if they're gonna release big marketing and big bomb trailers for the game, and after that the game release, yeah, that could be better. Hype doesn't make Wuthering Waves a good game. If game sucks, that's completely on Kuro. Now Celsius, I would say that I have very, very high hopes that Wuthering Waves is not gonna suck. But unfortunately, hype matters too. Yes, but you need both for a game to just break normie barriers and reach new heights. You need both. Wasn't Punishing Grey Raven still being praised for being a good game even to this day? But no one really heard of it because it just didn't really get picked up. Like there wasn't much hype about it. No one really cares. So some games don't necessarily have to be great for them to be hyped up and be the biggest title around. That's just how it is. Now, can they survive the jumping? They can get jumped. They won't come out unscathed, but if they keep releasing banger patch after banger patch after banger patch, they can stonk that shit. Now, what I would like to also point out, which could be a video on its own, but I'll just drop it here too. No matter who wins, chat, no matter who wins, we win. They have to one-up one another. And if they keep one-upping one another, we win. We keep getting quality products. Either way, we win. Done are the day where we're Hoyoverse bitches. Done are the day where we're gaming bitches. No, we're the top one now.
I need more power.
The story is mid from what I hear, and it's still gonna be mid on release. So it will all be up to gameplay. I would like to point out, if a lot of people are going to criticize the story, I would really like to point out Metal Gear Solid 5. Now, Metal Gear Solid 5, to me personally, was the most hyped title I've been hyped up for in my life. It was Metal Gear Solid 5, and I love this game to this day. Now, Metal Gear Solid 5 story sucked. It sucked balls. Like, the story was so ass. But the game felt so fucking good that no one really gave a fuck. Wuthering Waves is not going to have a good start, gonna have a rocky start, but if they keep pushing good freaking patches one after the other, and they don't miss, they keep hitting the mark. If they keep just hitting the mark, I think they can do great. Just like HSR, exactly, just like HSR. I think Wuthering Waves will get increasingly better. That's my hope. And if it does, just like HSR did, here we are. Because, hey, chat, type 1 if you think 2.0 is better than 1.0. I do believe 2.0 is peak HSR. And it shows and tells us that just because you start behind the 8 balls, there is a high possibility that you can become better and better and better and have an amazing game in the future. So as HSR proved, if you keep hitting the mark and you're the game that a lot of us can look at and go, this motherfucker don't miss. If you're that game, I do believe the future is bright for you. So a lot of y'all can think I'm doom posting, but HSR proves that just because you start behind a little, you can always keep hitting the mark and be a very, very good game. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know why. All right, we'll see you on the next one. See you.